I'm here with the man himself, the freight train, Tony Donato. How you doing, sir?
It's good to see you.
You too. So first thing, describe how just how you got into business in general and just beginning and all that. So
Well, I mean, that's a pretty long story, but to make it short for you, I moved down south probably about 8 years ago.
mm,
Independent wrestling isn't as big where I'm from, and so
mm,
I wasn't familiar with it. But coming down here, went to a couple shows, saw what they had to offer, and I thought to myself, this is something that I might get
mm,
interested in doing. So, try to meet some people, talk with some people,
mm,
and pay your dues, and hopefully an opportunity comes to get trained and learn.
yeah,
And so that's kind of what I did. I
yeah,
met some guys and started training with them, guys like Alkachi and Ray Fury.
mm.
I spent a little time training with some other people, and currently I'm doing some training at Redemption Academy with Tom Latimer.
Okay. Well, as I always ask is because like when talking about people getting into the business, there's always no one same story. There's always different ways to get into it. So, um, you know, I was looking at your name, the Freight Train, Tony Donato. Kind of, I'm pretty sure Tony Donato is not your real name. So, kind of explain. Let's say, is it a friendly, family friendly way to explain it?
Yeah, no, it's totally
Yeah.
fine. Actually,
Yeah.
so as a worker, I try to do my best to
Yeah.
pay homage in the business here, but also to my family and life. And so the freight train is a name I've been called my whole life.
Okay.
Played football in school,
Mm.
and I'd be running down the field, whether that was in college or that was in high school. And my mom would always tell me, she said, "Man, you huff down the field, you sound like a freight train." And so when it came to wrestling, it was a pretty easy transition there.
Yeah.
Tony Donato is it's not my name, but it's a family name. When my family
Right.
came over from Italy in the 1800s,
Okay.
the first person to step into America
Yeah.
was named Tony Donato.
Yeah. Oh, I was about to say, if I saw you on the football field, I wouldn't want to come near you. So that I can see
Well,
freight
most
train.
guys did. Most guys did.
And so describe that moment, or it might be a series of moments or events that made you realize that this I want to be a wrestler.
Well, I grew up with, I'm one of 8 siblings.
Oh wow.
We had 2 trampolines in the backyard. Ironically enough, I got broken into wrestling in a pretty awesome way in terms of first matches I got to see. Growing up, economically we struggled at times.
Mhm.
And so we'd go to Family Dollar and go to the $5 movie bin. And the first wrestling movie or film I ever picked out, and this is a cassette, so
Yes,
go back
yes.
a little bit. It was No Way Out. Eddie Guerrero, Brock Lesnar was the first match I ever
Oh
saw.
yes,
And
yes.
so, I mean, it was easy to fall in love with wrestling.
Oh, easy match.
Second match I ever saw, next one I picked up over there was No Way Out, Triple H versus Cactus Jack career match.
Oh man.
And so seeing those 2 matches as your first two was huge.
Yes.
Really got the opportunity. The first WrestleMania I ever watched, I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. WrestleMania 23. That was Batista and The Undertaker. That was Shawn Michaels and John Cena.
Yeah.
And so I got in at a time where some really good stuff was coming out.
Absolutely.
And starting out with those first two, I mean, it was easy to fall in love with wrestling.
I was about to say, yeah. Just those two that you described, just the storytelling and all that, but both of them was just, it was amazing.
It's something that naturally you hope to achieve on your own one day. To get to that level of work. And that's kind of the process, is to continue to chase that level of excellence.
Yeah. So, well, you might have touched on it a little bit just a moment ago, but who was the most inspiring to you
as a wrestler?
Yeah.
That's a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
Because you got so many different ways you can go with that.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in the early 2000s, so guys like Jeff Hardy were really big. And obviously you could not like the guy at that point. As a kid. Hulk Hogan was running the Hulk Still Rules thing. That was really cool.
Yeah.
Growing up, like I said, picked up a lot of VHS tapes, so I was watching a lot of NWO, watching a lot of Scott Hall. Guys like Scott Hall and Scott Steiner were big influences on me. Loved Batista. Batista was really great. So it was really hard to say, you know what I mean? So I can't really pick like one person that inspired me. I think I had admiration for like a lot of the wrestlers of that time.
Yeah, I hear you. A lot of people are like that too, because it's usually not just one person. So, so if you could work with anyone, whether it be someone who's on TV, indies, dead or alive, it's wide open.
Mm-hmm.
Who would you like?
If I could work with anyone.
Yeah.
Man, I've never really given that question a lot of thought. Mm-hmm. I think that I can't.
I'm stumbling you, sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm stumped. Well, there's so many great workers that you can tell different stories.
Absolutely.
With. Yeah. So it's really hard to say who would be the ideal person. Yeah, I guess it just depends on like the kind of match you want to have. Mm-hmm. But I guess, and this is me really pulling strings here, yeah. I'd want to be with work with somebody who could make me look my best, and obviously I could complement what they're doing. Mm-hmm. And there's easy answers to that, guys like AJ Styles, obviously.
Oh, wow.
Guys like Shawn Michaels, guys like Eddie Guerrero. I think I probably have to go with one of them just because of my admiration for their work.
I was about to say, just the one that I think I was stuck in my head that I think would have been good would have been you and Eddie for sure. Mm-hmm. So yeah. So what are your thoughts on your products on TV now? Is any of them that you like in particular? Because I know there's a lot now out there compared to what it was when I was growing up. But like, because you have WWE, AEW, TNA, ROH, all of them. Any particular favorites or?
I mean, I think if you're a fan of wrestling, you're a fan of wrestling.
Fair enough.
If you're a fan of good wrestling, you're a fan of good wrestling.
Yeah.
I can't really say this is a promotion that I only watch or this is my preference. I think you end up following other wrestlers and what they do, and then you'll watch a guy you've never seen before and be like, whoa, what was that?
No.
So I don't have a preference on that.
Fair enough. What are some future down the line goals that you have? Is it getting a contract, or is it just being the best wrestler, or what?
I mean, again, that's I think that in your journey, if you think about that kind of stuff when you're working, it's kind of hard to do that. For me, I want to just become as good as a wrestler as I can be. Talk to as many people, pick as many brains, work with as many people as I can to be the best wrestler I can be. And if that leads to something else, whether that's TV or not, I think it's just being able to go out and entertain fans and have a great match and that drive home, if it's a drive,
right,
where you really think about it, or right after match, you're like, wow, that was really great. Mm-hmm. I think that's the goal and I think more than anything, what's important to me is when I work with somebody, I want them to have left that match thinking, man, I'd really like to have another match with that guy.
Absolutely. If anybody was sitting there asking you, how do I become a wrestler, what advice would you give them? Or anybody just in the business in general?
Well, I would say for starts, there's really how would I do it? I think that the straight way is to go to a school and get proper training. Try to do that the best you can. You're going to find out that that can be difficult at times, or that it can be discouraging at times in your work because you're never going to be what you want to be. It's a chase of perfection.
Yes.
And so I'd say just stay the course and do your best and try to make a balance of that. But yeah, definitely would have to go to. I would recommend going to a school, find a school with some credential that you can admire the work and you respect the things they have to offer. I feel like with the guys that I've worked with in every stop that I've had, they were people that I respect, and I respect their work.
Yeah, right. That's really good stuff. So just some final thoughts. If you want to thank anybody that's helped you along the way, right here, you can thank them now. Or
well, I'll say thank you to all the people that have trained me or helped train me in any capacity, for one. But most importantly, I'd say thank you to my wife over everything else. I think that without the support of my family, my wife in particular, we wouldn't be able to do the things we do. I wouldn't be able to chase this dream. And so that's the number one thank you always.
Right. That's really refreshing because it's nothing against anybody else that I've interviewed, but that's the first time I've heard that. It's really refreshing to hear. It's good to hear. Well, to wrap this up, you have Ward and Moss, even though we thought we were going to have Cowboy Cliff tonight, but yeah, Ward and Moss. So go to your match tonight, and thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.